welcome to my channel. My name is LaTroya and today is Monday, so you know what that means. It is Motivational Monday with me, and today is the day that I get to encourage you. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm excited to have you. I hope you feel encouraged, I hope you feel motivated, and I hope you feel blessed. So it is Monday, guys. How was the start of your week? It just started. How is it going? I hope you have a blessed week. I know Mondays, I decided to do Mondays. I didn't tell you because people do not like Mondays. It's a day that you gotta go to work, So I just want to encourage you on your week. Guys, look, I blow my hair out. It got frizzy because it got a little wet in the shower, but this is my first time blowing my hair out in 3 years. It's already frizzy, but let me know what you think about it. I keep touching it because I'm not used to it. I'm so used to my afros, and I'm natural, so I have afros and I always have like protective styles. So if I keep touching my hair, I'm sorry. But welcome. Today I want to talk about who are you trying to please in your life? Who are you living your life for? And I got this, I don't know if I was asleep or daydreaming, or I don't know what I was doing, but I was laying in my bed and I heard, I was like I probably was asleep. I honestly don't know. But I remember like people lined up like outside, and I was looking to them for answers. And I was like, it was almost like do you know kind of thing. I heard God say, why are you looking to man for answers to a God question? And I was like, whoa. Like at first I was like, what did that even mean? It's like, why are we going to man when we need to be going to God? And sometimes we ask God questions like, God, like, what do you want me to do? God, like we go to him. We ask the initial question. I had to get water. But we ask God a question and we don't wait for him to answer. And we start, trying to figure it out on our own. And we go to people and we start asking for their opinion and what do they think. And God proposed the question, why are you looking for answers from man to a God question? Why are we going to man when we need to be going to God? We ask God questions. God has the ability to answer it. God has full control over the earth, over every situation. He's Alpha and Omega. He's the beginning and the end. He already know what the end result is going to be. So why are we looking to man to, it's okay to, confide in people. It's okay to, ask advice from certain people, especially if there's people, mentors that you have, or people who have gone down the same. Let's you want to say you want to start a business, and someone who started a business or is in the same field that you're trying to start a business in, and you're looking for advice. That's okay. But when we're constantly going to man for answers, when we're constantly trying to get man opinion, when we're constantly knocking at someone's door trying to figure out which way should I go, what should I do, it's like, all right, yes, it's okay to get advice, but when do you stop? When do you start leaning on God? When do you go to God for advice? And sometimes I think that we are so insecure in our walk, and we're so insecure in the plan that God has for us, that we are afraid of, of what people are going to think. Like, what if I do it like this and I fail? Or what if, and we're so constantly worried about what man thinks or what people thinks. And it boils down to, who are you trying to please? Are you trying to please man, or are you trying to please God? Are you living your life to fulfill man's goal, or are you living your life to fulfill the goal that God has for you? Are you walking in the will that God has for you, or are you trying to fill this, imaginary idea of what you think man wants from you? And I think it's very, very important that we understand that we live to serve God. We were created in his image and we were created to worship him. We were created to serve him. We were created to walk in his will. And we have to live that each and every day. And sometimes it's not easy and sometimes it's hard. And if you continue to, ask God, he will lead you and he will guide you. God says, I will be the light to your path. Like, he will light your path. He will make crooked paths straight. He will make it straight for you to walk. So we really need to, evaluate our life and figure out over this course, like, who was I trying to please in my life? Have I always been, trying to please God, or have I always been so bound in people bondage that I couldn't, really like live for God because I was so caught up in what people thought? What if people think this and what if people think that? And I can tell you, I lived that for so long. I was so stuck in people bondage about every aspect of my life. Even like how I raised my children. I was so caught up like, oh, what if I do this? What will people think? Oh, and I was a teen mom, so I always just thought people always judged me. So I was in people bondage for a long time on every aspect of my life. I was so insecure in basic things. Like, it's overwhelming. Like, when you let go of that and you just live your life for you and you live your life for God, it's so much more peaceful and it's so much less confusion, because you're not confused about, oh, what if I should be doing this? Or what if, like, just do what God told you to do, So I have like this little, me, I like to have like little stories to go along with my, motivation. So I'm gonna read it. An old man, a boy, and a donkey. And if you know this story, comment in the comment section. Let me know if you've heard the story. Let me know if this is the same version you heard or if you heard a different version. I'm just interested because you know how sometimes folk tell stories as they go around, they change a little bit. So if you heard this before or if you know a different version, let me know. I'm interested to know. So there was an old man, a boy, and a donkey, and they were going into town. So the boy was riding the donkey while the old man walked. And on the way into town, someone saw them and said to the boy, "You are letting this poor old man walk?" So the boy got down so the old man could ride the donkey. While still on their way into town, someone saw them and said to the old man, "You are letting this poor young boy walk?" So the old man and the boy, they both rode the donkey into town. Yet, while still on their way into town, someone stopped them and said, "You two are going to kill that donkey." By the time the old man and the boy got into town, they were carrying the donkey. So what is the moral of the story? They listened to everyone around them. You can't satisfy everybody. No matter what you do, someone's going to have something to say. You're going to always be wrong in somebody's eyes. You can be completely right and still be wrong in somebody's eyes. So you cannot live your life trying to please people. So your goal is not to please man, it's to please God. Because at the end of the day, God has a final say anyway. I remember growing up, I think I always was like this, maybe like this insecure girl. So I was the queen of trying to please people. I was always trying to choose people rather than God, even in my adult life. As I got older, I think the older I got, the wiser I got, the closer I got to God, the more I began to understand that you can't please everybody. Everybody's going to have an opinion no matter what. And I was a queen of like people bondage and choosing people. Like, I couldn't move without the opinion of someone else. Like, I always needed like a backup opinion. Like, yo, what do you think? You think this is a good idea? You think I should do this? What are your thoughts? And it was like, I needed to know what others thought before I did anything. I needed to know. I value people's opinions so much. Even when God, and this is just now giving me revelation. It's like, even when God would tell me to do something, I would still go to men and be like, yo, what do you think about this? And it's like, yo, who is man to even, they can override what God said. If God already told me to do it, if God already told you to do it, it doesn't matter what man says. They can't override God's thinking. God's thoughts and his ways are higher than our thoughts and our ways anyway. And I remember, like, there were times that I would put myself in situations that I knew wasn't right. Like, I could feel it in my heart and I could feel it in my spirit. Like, I just knew it wasn't right. But because my friends was like, girl, you should do this. Girl, that's a good idea. If I was you, that's people's favorite line. Girl, if I was you, that's a favorite line. Girl, if I was you, I would do X, Y, and Z. And there was times that I would follow in people's footsteps or in people's advice, and the situation would blow up in my face. Like, it would, I knew that it was a bad idea. I knew that it would be disastrous, and I still did it. And then when the end of it, like, fell completely, those same people that, girl, if I was you, wasn't there. They wasn't there to back me up. They wasn't there to, walk me through it. I had to pick up all the pieces, and I had to figure it out on my own, and I had to start over. Those same, girl, if I was you, turned into, girl, I wouldn't know what I would do if I was in a situation. Like, you put me in this situation. You told me that it was a good idea. You said that, oh, girl, if I was you, I would do X, Y, and Z. And now it's, oh, girl, if I was in your situation, I don't know what I would have did. Like, seriously? So we really, really, really have to focus on our relationship with God. And as I started to love myself, as I'm telling you, like, the whole purpose of this channel is for me to teach and encourage people that you have value, you have worth, you have a purpose, and there is so much deep down on the inside of you, and everything starts with yourself. Like, you have to learn to love yourself. You cannot love no one else if you can't love yourself. You don't love God and you don't love yourself, there's no way that you're gonna live a purposeful, meaningful life, because you are constantly living in a place of insecurity. You're constantly living in a place of discouragement, because you just, you don't have that strength in yourself to, pick yourself up when things get hard. You don't have that to push yourself through. You have to fall in love with yourself. And I had to learn that. Even in relationships with friends, whether it's with, a partner, those relationships I learned will fail if you don't first love yourself. You cannot depend on anyone to help you love you. You cannot find validation in people. You cannot find validation in men. You cannot find your validation in your friends. You have to, it's imperative to your life that you love yourself. You have to get selfish with loving yourself. You cannot live your life not being in love with yourself. And I'm not saying be conceited and, be full of yourself, but you have to truly, genuinely love who you are. And there was a time and place where I did not love myself. I didn't see myself having any value. I didn't see myself having anything to offer. And because I didn't love myself, I put myself in situations and in relationships where they treated me like straight trash, and I allowed it. Why? Because I didn't have any standards for myself. I didn't have, you set this bar for yourself. I ain't have no bar. You know how people like, oh, my bar was, you set your standards too low. I ain't have no standards. I ain't have no bars. Like, I would just let people just do whatever, and I would just take it, because I just felt like, if you know who you are and if you love yourself, there's certain things that you will not take and you will not stand for. I remember being in, like, I was 14, and I remember being in this relationship, and mind you, I'm 14, and he would, like, hit me. I remember one time we was in a park, and he, like, took me by my hair and, like, swung me in circles by my hair in the park. And it was just like, okay, like who does that? Someone who doesn't love themselves, because no one in their right mind who absolutely loves themselves would take it. And there was just times I really put myself in situations where I shouldn't have been in. And I took the advice of people that I shouldn't have taken. But because I was in that place of lack of love for self, I just, allowed things to happen. So you have to start. I'm sorry I went on a tangent about loving yourself, but it's so important. I feel like everything starts with loving yourself. And once you begin to love yourself and know who you are in God, you will not allow man or anyone to, put you on a different path. You will know the path that you're taking. You know the direction of your life. You know where you're headed, and you know who you are, and you won't allow anyone to tell you otherwise. I've come to a place where I don't care what you say about me. At the end of the day, I know who I am, and as long as I have the approval of God, and my validation is in Christ, you could talk all day long. You can opinionate. You can say whatever. I don't care. And I was never at that point. Like, people's words would just hurt me. Their opinions would just hurt me. And I would try to live my life to please everybody. And it's impossible. It's impossible to please everybody. So now, say what you want. Do what you want. It ain't gonna affect me in no way, shape, or form, because I know who I am. I know who I am as a mother. I know who I am as a woman. I know who I am as a fiance. I know who I am as a Christian. I just know who I am. And I'm not going to let anyone change my mind. I'm not going to let anyone take that away from me. Like, I live my life so long in darkness that when I'm finally in light and I finally have that confidence and that boldness, I'm not letting no one take that away from me. I just refuse. I refuse. So it all starts with loving yourself and knowing who you are in God. And once you do that, you won't have to live your life trying to please people. You will have the confidence, you will have the boldness, you will have the courage to step out and basically achieve anything. Anything that you want, you can achieve it. Because you're not looking to men for opinions. You're not looking to man for validation. You're not trying to live your life choosing man, And I look at it like this. When you do what God says, people are going to talk. They talk anyway. Oh well. But people are going to talk. And they always going to have something to say. And they may talk behind your back. They may jump to your face. But in the end, you know that God is going to back you up. You know that God is going to have your back. I've been in situations where I took the advice of people, and when it all was said and done and it didn't work out, they weren't there to help me. They didn't have my back. They weren't there to help me pick up the pieces. They weren't there to help me figure out how to start over or how to do it, or what direction. They wasn't there. You were there to give your opinion, and now that it's not working, you're not there to help me. And that's the thing. When you're following and you're living your life to please God, He's going to be there through the thick, the thin. He's going to be there when it get rough. He's going to be there when it's joyful. He's going to have your back 100% of the time. He's always going to be there to stand in the gap for you. He's going to be there to block things that's not supposed to happen. He's going to be there to advocate for you. He's going to be there to... The Bible says that Jesus intercedes on our behalf. Jesus is going to be praying for you while you're going through situations, while you're, following that path that God has told you to follow. Jesus is praying for you. Jesus got your back. You don't have to worry about it. So when it fell, and that's another thing, God will never set us up for failure. So when things get rough, God will always have your back. Always, always, always. You never have to worry about it. And I think that's where I find that confidence. Like, God told me to do this. So if I know that God told me to do it, no matter what, because I'm walking in obedience, He got me. That's all that matters. Like, He got me. I don't have to worry. I don't have to be fearful. I can walk in faith. I can walk in power. I can walk in boldness. I can walk in courage because I know He got me. I know He got me. So I think that is one of the true things that really helped me. Like, man, they sway like the trees. Like, the wind blow, they like, what's good? But I feel like with God, you ain't gotta worry about that. You ain't gotta worry about it. And I think about the story of Noah and the ark, right? So I don't think at this point, I don't think it has ever rained on the earth. Like, the plants and trees and stuff, they got their water from the mist that came from under the earth. I don't think it has ever rained on the earth. But God told Noah, build the ark. Build this big giant boat for rain, something we've never seen before. Build a boat because it's about to rain. And people were like, what? They was thinking Noah was crazy. They thought he lost his straight up mind. Like, dude, you lost your mind. What's rain? What do you mean it's going to rain? It's not going to rain. It's never rained. Why all of a sudden it's about to rain? Why are you building this boat? Who told you to build the boat? That's stupid. That makes no sense. You're insane. I would stop. Oh, kids, don't hang around him because that man is crazy. Don't go near that family because that people is crazy. Like, can you imagine? Now, what if Noah started to ponder on what they said? Like, dang, they right. It never rained. What is rain? Water from the sky? Like, what? That happens? Can that happen? Huh. A boat? Why would I build a boat? A big, massive boat. Why would I do that? Why would I get animals? That makes no sense. Why would I do that? You know what? These people are actually making some kind of sense. These people are, I like what they're saying. It makes sense. So I'm gonna listen to the people instead. Like, what if Noah said, you know what? I'm gonna just listen to people because God told me to do something and that made no sense at all. It don't line up. It makes zero sense. I'm not doing that. God, that makes no sense. What if he did that? Him and his whole family would have died. But because he walked in obedience, he chose to listen to God and not man. He chose God and he did not choose people. He chose God's words and not man's words. He lived. He lived. His family lived. His sons lived. His wife lived. His son wives lived. So people thought he was crazy, but he was so in tune with God and he knew who he was in God that he listened to God. He chose God. And that is what I want to encourage you today. I want you to choose God. I don't want you to choose man. Man will set you up for failure and leave you in your failure. And then talk about you while you in your failure. That's how they operate. You don't want to be mixed up with that. So I encourage you today, choose God. Don't choose man. And if you find yourself in a constant battle in choosing and trying to please man, pleasing your friends, your family instead of God, I want you to ask God, one, for forgiveness. And I want you to really, really try to work on your relationship with God. It's all about trust. If you don't trust him, then you're not going to believe him. If you can't trust him, then you're not going to be able to rely on his word. It's all about trust. So I want you to really, really focus on building trust with God. I want you to, ask God, for advice and then take it and see how it works. Because that's how you build trust. You build trust in a relationship and all people actions. When you realize like, oh, he's always been here for me. She always been there for me. He always had my back. I know I can trust him because you've seen them and work before. I think that's what we need. We need to put ourselves in a situation where we can see God, be who he is. God is a God of trust and a God of honesty. He's holy and he's righteous. He can't lie. So we need to really put ourselves in situations where we set ourselves up to trust God. We need to be on purpose about this thing. And some scriptures I want to leave with you are Proverbs 16:7. And it says, when a man ways please the Lord, he even makes his enemies to be at peace with him. Another one is Galatians 1:10. And that reads, For do I now persuade men or God? Or do I seek to please men? For if I still please men, I would not be a bondservant of Christ. So you can't please men and God, is either or. And my last scripture for you today is Ephesians 6:6. Not with eye service as men pleasers, but as bondservants of Christ. Do the will of God from your heart. Choose God today. I love you. I enjoy seeing you guys, meeting up with you guys on Monday. And remember that you are wise, you are smart, you are beautiful from the inside out. You have power, you have purpose, you have worth, and you have value. You are a living gemstone.